Welcome back to Hot Chick Homestead. We were a little sick, so now that everybody's better, it's one of those days on the homestead that nobody really looks forward to. And what I mean by that is it's culling day, and today I'm going to go ahead and dispatch two of our birds, and I'll show you which ones. We'll walk this way here. What's going on is that we have a Brahma inside with these two birds that are just, sometimes you can introduce a bird to new birds, like to the birds that are already in your coop, right? And the way you do that is you get a cage, you put the new bird in the cage separated from the birds that are already in there. Well, in this case, what happened is, because that trick doesn't always work, they don't always accept the new chicken. What happens is they beat and peck on the new bird until it either dies or is so maimed that you have to dispatch it. Well, this is a new bird, and I'm not going to dispatch it. So there's those two back there. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to try and get those two and go ahead and cull them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to take care of culling them, and then when they're culled and laid out, I'm going to show you how to basically gut them. But then what's going to happen is since these birds are not going to be good for meat, they're going to be too tough because they're too old. So what I'll do is I will then boil the carcasses up, and then I will come over here into this coop and feed those other two to these guys, and they'll take care of it. They'll pick it clean. Now, the way that I'm going to cull these birds is very humane. It's going to be quick, and they're not going to feel any pain. And it's just part of life on a homestead. Sometimes you got to do some things that you really don't like to do. This is one of those times where I've got to protect that baby bird back there, and the only way to do that is to cull those other two birds, because those other two birds can't go in the other coop that I just showed you, because then they'll be getting beat by those birds. So I have a couple of different options. I can waste the money I spent on that Brahma, right, which they lay pretty big eggs, or I can get rid of two of the older chickens in here in hopes that cutting the numbers in here will stop the beatings. Okay, so you can see I've got the birds slaughtered, heads off. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take these snips and I'm going to snip these legs off. And then the way that you get your feathers off is, and this one I'm just going to skin because we're not going to eat it. We're going to feed it to our own, the chickens that are alive out back still. But if you were to do this and you needed to get your feathers off of there, you would dip this into some really hot water and then just yank up on the feathers, you see. Now, the best way to kill a bird is very humanely. I can show you one trick. It's already dead. So you can either lay it on the ground like that, and if the head was still attached, you put your boot on it, and then you twist and pull, and that'll rip the head off. Now, that's if you're in a survival kind of scenario, right? The preferred method is really to take a good pair of nice snips and just snip the head off. And now what'll happen is, because the head is taken off so quickly, these will dance around. Their nerves will kick and all that. So just put it on the ground and let it do its thing. It's going to get blood everywhere. You're going to get messy doing this. This is not an easy task, and it's not very fun. Okay, so as you can see, I got that chicken pretty well cleaned up. Now I just got to reach inside of it and pull out all the innards. Here's the deal. When you're not plucking but you're skinning, I follow my own rule. It's pretty scientific, really. You see this fat right here? If you're going to just skin them out, follow the yellow brick road, because then you get the whole suit of the chicken off. Now, none of this chicken will go to waste. It'll get eaten. But you see how nice and clean that is. I could probably, if I wanted to, take it in the house, wash it up, and go ahead and eat this chicken. But I'm not in a situation where I need to eat tough meat. So the other chickens are going to benefit from the death of this chicken. Okay, so both chickens have been dispatched, gutted and skinned, and put in the pot. So what's the next step? The next step is because I live in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, you can't leave stuff like this, because that will draw in the coyotes and the hogs. So what I'm going to do next, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put all that in a plastic trash bag, and I'm going to put it in the dumpster. This is all stuff that couldn't be used. Okay, so every bit of the chicken that I could use, I did. Now, once I clean this up, okay, it's going in a plastic bag. It's going to go tied off in a dumpster to keep any hogs, wild animals from coming in, because it'll draw them in, and then they don't have a bigger issue where now I'm having to shoot a coyote or trap a raccoon to kill it so that it doesn't hurt my birds. I can skip all that by simply cleaning my mess up. So until next time, guys, and there might be a short where I feed those two particular birds to the other coop. I'm not sure yet. I think you guys can get the point from here on out that they're just going to be boiled, cooled, and fed to the birds. Again, not a fun day on the homestead. Nobody likes doing this. It's a necessary evil. But it does give you a massive amount of respect for the things that you raise and the things that you eat. Now, I'm not eating these birds again, because they weren't ever meat birds. They were egg birds, and they were just acting a fool. So until next time, guys, like and subscribe.